Okay, so in this video, we're gonna have a chat about Carey Price because he's been gone since like forever. And everybody's favorite caveman, Elliote Friedman, did his little 30-something thoughts podcast, and he brought up the sensitive subject of Price's future within the Montreal Canadiens organization again. It's not really an update, it's not really a rumor, but it's basically just entering the mind of the insane. But first, if you're a fan of the Habs, but you'd rather watch your dog drop a deuce than watch Montreal play hockey right now, then please consider subscribing to my channel, as I upload a ton of hockey content and would really enjoy having some more of you grasshoppers tag along for the ride. Now, Carey Price has been gonzo for a long time though. The last time we saw him play was against the Tampa Bay Lightning during the Stanley Cup Finals. And I don't know how you guys are feeling right now, but to me, that feels like light years ago. And since that playoff run, Price has been a bit of a mystery. You see, the playoff run, it left him all banged up. Price had some knee problems, which would require a surgery to fix. This did happen and took place on July 22nd. It was also revealed during the summer that he had some hip problems. And on top of all of that, he would also enter a treatment facility for a short period of time due to a substance abuse issue that he was having. So yeah, you see, it was quite a roller coaster ride for Price since that Tampa series. But then, during the month of December, things were beginning to look up for Price again. He was training, he was at practice. All of a sudden, there was some talks about him possibly getting a sniff of some action at the Winter Olympics. But yet, despite all of this shit, Dominique Ducharme still looked like a deer in headlights whenever he was asked a question about Price's return. And Ducharme just seems to have that natural ability. It's a specialty of his. He can make himself look so confused in front of everybody that it just mesmerizes his audience. It's like his lips are moving, but nothing is making any sense. Anyway, this leads us to where we are today. There's a lot of questions about the future of Carey Price right now. I know for a fact that I've got quite a few viewers who believe that we may never see Carey Price suit up for the Montreal Canadiens again, and who knows, maybe they could be right. Back to Elliote Friedman though, during his friggin' 30-something thoughts podcast, he would share his thoughts on the Carey Price situation, and he would say, quote, "The Olympics are out of the question right now, so what's gonna happen with Price?" Friedman would say there are two ways this can go. Option number one, Price can say, you know what, there's no Olympics this year, this team, meaning Montreal of course, is not playing for anything, so I'm gonna take the rest of the year off to get healthy physically and mentally, and I'll see all of you guys next September. So there you go, in Friedman's eyes, this is a likely scenario, and this really wouldn't surprise me either. And let's face it, as much as we all miss seeing him between the pipes, I think I speak for a lot of Habs fans when I say that I'm all about the tank right now, okay? I just want Shane Wright or Matthew Savoy or whoever else that I can get my little Edward Scissorhands on at the draft. I want him. Precious. As for the other option that Friedman mentions, option number two, is if Price decides, hey, a rebuild is not something that I'm interested in right now, and maybe both parties come to an agreement that maybe if another team is interested, they're gonna have to play him for a few games just so other teams know that he's healthy, you know? Kinda like a showcase. Carey Price is kinda like a second-hand car right now. He's got a lot of kilometers on him, and you guys know how it is. You're gonna wanna make sure that there's no issues with this guy before you invest this kind of money into it. Oh, wow. We all know his contract is going to be a factor in any future trade considerations. It's going to be all about how much money Gorton is willing to retain and how much money other teams are going to be capable of taking in. There's been a lot of chatter this year about maybe a team like the Edmonton Oilers could be interested in Price, and come on, I'm sure Edmonton would love to have Carey Price in net. Maybe if he was in net for Edmonton and he turned into what we know as playoff Price, Edmonton may actually make a run for it. But you see, the only problem is, it's tricky, okay? If Price gets moved, wherever he goes, it's going to be tricky for both parties involved. Taking a look at Edmonton's salary cap here, they've already got 4 forwards making like $31.5 million bucks. They just signed Darnell Nurse to a very, very lucrative contract, which is supposed to kick in next year at over $9 million bucks. So it's not going to be easy. Can they make something like this happen? Yeah, of course they can, because general managers know how to weasel their asses out of anything. But still, it's going to be tricky. And all I know is, if Carey Price decides to come back and play some games and somehow pull some wins out of his ass, even with this team in front of him, then Montreal is just going to be shooting themselves in the foot. They'll pick later in the draft, and they still obviously won't make the playoffs. In a situation like this, everybody would lose. Anyway, guys, that does it for me. Let me know what you think is going to happen with Price in the comment section. Do you think that his days are numbered in Montreal? Or do you still think he's going to retire a Hab? Okay, so in this video, we're going to have a chat about Cotton Eye Joe, Carey Price. Oh, where did he come from? Where did he go?